Welcome, everybody. This is episode 2 of the Mount Silver podcast. I am Meals. I am here with the Platinum Chanel boy himself, Jeff.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Pufifi himself, Pat.
Oh, yeah.
And we are here for a fun episode. This is probably, I don't think I've looked forward to any episode of recording a podcast in quite some time. Like, we're looking forward to this episode because we are talking about the Gen 1 Pokemon game.
Gen 1, man.
And
the one that did it, really.
Really. And we'll be talking about, and just to sort of, play for the future and things like that. Just so you know, this podcast will be coming back, especially considering this is episode 2. We'll be talking about every generation of Pokemon game until the new one comes out, which has a date of, Pokemon Sword, and it's November.
It's probably right around Black Friday.
Yeah,
I think it's like it
might be like 2 weeks before.
It will be dropping on November 15th. So definitely the week before.
Yeah.
It sounds like the week before Black Friday.
Mine's paid for.
I
got the bundle. I got the bundle off Prime. I just got them both. I usually buy them both anyways.
Yeah, you're a bundle.
I always get them both. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Interesting. Pat, which one are you getting?
Sword. Come on.
I'm playing Sword first. Yes.
It's a sword. I mean, I won't apologize.
You should. You definitely should.
So here's the thing. I want to get Sword. My initial thing for getting Pokemon games is because I did the Two Belts podcast with Carlos for so long, and Carlos is another fan of Pokemon, and we've been playing. One of the reasons why we became such good friends and such best friends is because we both play Pokemon. So usually I just get whatever opposite game he gets, so we have everything covered. I have no idea what he's gonna get. I should probably ask him. Actually, I'm gonna ask him right now as we record this podcast. But I usually get whatever opposite game. Everyone's gonna say Sword. That's the thing. Like Shield though? Like, does anyone want a Shield?
Well, you know what? Watch Shield have like the exclusive ones that you want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Screw everybody over.
Yeah, definitely. But as long as we're all playing together, it won't matter. We'll be trading and stuff.
This is very, very true.
Yeah, it won't matter.
We have not recorded since actually the release of Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That was in May. Actually, it has gone.
Numbers.
It did numbers. It's gone on.
Finish off? Do you know?
I actually don't, but it was good. Let me find out.
So the production budget, I have it pulled up right now. Production budget was $150 million. Worldwide, it has made $427 million.
Sequel's coming.
Domestic, it has made $142 million. So success.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't done more. Honestly, I bet it does really well on VOD too.
So we discussed that. That was back in May. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, that was great. I can't believe it was that long ago.
So since then, we've had E3, and with E3 came the news, especially the first gameplay, the gameplay showing of Pokemon Sword and Shield. I want to get you guys' opinion on sort of what we felt, because it's a month removed. The trailer is what it is. They showed us a couple new Pokemon that look very, very cool.
Yeah.
But generally, and also you have to talk about, I guess, the controversial thing of not every Pokemon is going to be featured in this game. And Correct. It's not that every Pokemon isn't going to be like available, you have to go to this region or you have to trade from this game. They're just not going to be in the game.
They're not going to be in the game, yeah.
First of all, thoughts on the trailer?
I mean, I thought it looks great. Very beautiful. Atmosphere looks nice. Still looks a bit structured for me, which is fine. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be completely open world like I think some people were wanting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would look a little more open world. A little bit.
Do you see that space that they have? It looks like they have specific spaces. I know they were like kind of roamy a little bit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's kind of like the biggest thing about the trailer for me, and it's kind of true for all of these games, that it's kind of hard to judge, because in one point I'll be like, looks like it's straight up top down, and then at another point it'll look really open world.
It looks open, yeah, it looks open. So
because
I even read that there's like there is a more difficult area where there's way stronger Pokemon, and maybe even in the beginning of the game, but you're not capable to really challenge it, because they'll feint you, which I kind of like that. It's like, well, you can go in this area and try to catch this whatever Nidoking, but it may knock you out. And
Yeah, I like
try.
the idea that they're like less handholdy that way.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully.
God willing.
I mean, when we talk about the first generation of the game, it's so hands off, and now we go to this is the 8th, 9th. So hands on. So
Yeah, this is the 8th.
yeah, it's so crazy. My first initial thoughts of the game, I love how it looks, and I love that we're back to the structure for gyms, because whatever happened in Sun and Moon, I don't want to happen again. And I appreciate them trying something different, but I don't want that to happen.
Gym leaders look awesome.
Gym
They did a
leader.
great job.
The thing with Sun and Moon was that even when it was cool, I couldn't get straight what was happening. I was like, is this the totem challenge? Is this the one before the totem challenge? What
I got
number
over
is
that
this? I have no idea.
I got over it quick.
It was it's just like the thrilling part of it, or the gym battles and the Pokemon battles, but these were instead challenges. So it felt like a little bit less Pokemon and more like maybe Mario Party or whatever the hell it is.
The challenges were still here. Let me take you over here, though.
And you end up battling the totem Pokemon, which is huh?
Yeah. I mean, they weren't directly difficult. It was more of a challenge than usual because they got their little stat boost or whatever. But like, if you knew what you were like, if you've been playing this game for 10 plus years, you were okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I haven't gone back to it.
The Sword and Shield, man, design wise, as far as the Pokemon that's kind of been released, I mean, some of the coolest designs I've seen in a long time. I mean, Corviknight looks awesome. That's like 100% getting trained.
Gosh, I think. Well, all right. Sword and Shield, I think it looks promising thus far. The Pokemon, the designs look cool.
I gotta say, I don't love either one of the fucking the wolves, whatever these things, the legendaries that are the cover guys. I don't.
Zamazito and Zazian.
Yeah, they're just too complicated. Like that's the thing with a lot of these newer Pokemon. For me, there's just a little too much going on visually. But a lot of the other ones don't have that problem. Like
I like the ultimate, like what they're like the whole sword shield thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's gonna be like new forms of the. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna have forms. They look like they're gonna have forms.
Yeah, I think the cover people have always had forms recently.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I think the recent ones that's kind of been the gimmick after a certain while, right? It's like forms or things like that. Just got an update from Carlos. He said, "I'm getting shields because I know you're already getting swords."
Ooh, okay, you got it.
You already knew.
Shout out to Carlos. He initially said he wanted Glock, but that is something different.
Who are you guys starting with? Who's your starter? Do you guys know yet?
So initially I was Score Bunny. I don't know if I'm still going to be
Score Bunny because I think Score Bunny's a soccer player. I'm going with Score Bunny first.
I kind of like the chimp. What's his name? Grookey?
Grookey.
Yeah.
He's cool. I don't know. I'll end up picking based on their final.
Of course.
Yeah, essentially. Well, as you should. I think everyone is what's the introverted one? Sabi, yeah. I mean, it feels nice that a lot of people identify with them.
Yeah.
It's not something that
he's like a water chameleon or something.
It's not something that usually happens with Pokemon, especially with starters. That people feel, oh, I'm fire. I'm water. It's like maybe it's what it says about you. I'm sure there's a BuzzFeed quiz about what starter says about you. But with Sable, I feel it's interesting that people identify with it so much, especially being like very introverted. And it's like, man, these are going to evolve into this huge, crazy thing.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the evolutions.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue. It's the same.
I like this sheep. I know he's not a starter.
Yeah,
Wooloo. I like him. Even there's been sheep before, but I like this one.
This one's good.
And also, there's like a corgi.
Yeah.
So that's extremely good news, obviously.
Yamper.
Yeah, Yamper. I'm very into
Electric
that.
type too.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
There's that new bird that apparently
Corviknight.
that silver dark
Yeah,
thing
it
that's
looks so
for
bad.
traveling. It
So
looks good.
badass, dude.
They knock it out the park with the designing and things like that. And we're gonna get into that a little bit when we talk about this Gen 1. But they really they get it right.
Anything that has like a cotton design always gets absolute. Like they cotton Pokemon are OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two because there's the sheep and there's Eldegoss.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where am I at? Yo, there's so many gens of this goddamn game now. Holy crap.
I know.
We're almost at 1,000. We're almost at
That's why I
1,000.
was like, when they said they weren't all in this one, I was like, I don't
Yeah,
even know who's in this game anymore.
Yeah, at this point, well, they made the announcement, which has got a lot of controversy, a lot of talk about they can't. A lot of fans are mad because they can't carry their favorite Pokemon into the game from past generations because a lot of them won't be available to in this game. Just I think by nature of it would take them longer to develop, which I don't think it's a good thing. I think the reason is that it's space in this game because 1,000 Pokemon in one game.
It's a lot. It's a lot of different
It's a
rules a lot of different rules to kind of confine to. Like you got to stay in specific things to make this work.
And it's not even
I just
that.
don't
You have
know.
that. You have forms, which you also got to load up. And a lot of Pokemon has a lot of alternate forms now, especially with the Mega forms. And you got like Ash Greninja, and you got like other different types of Alolan forms and things like that. It's a lot to actually load in this game. So I don't think I'm particularly mad about everything isn't available in this game. I kind of get it.
They're definitely trying to make it more marketable too. I mean, they're probably still shocked at how popular the Switch is, especially stateside. That they're like, okay, we have to have a game that's accessible to people.
Right.
Which I mean, the people who are not fans of this would also say that's totally selling out, and I guess technically they're right, but I don't care that much.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that deep.
No, it's not. I mean, they issued a statement. Essentially, Jeff, what was the gist of the statement?
I mean, basically, it's kind of what you just said. It's like, there are things that they cannot go through with in this situation. There's a lot of different Pokemon. If they put this all into the game, you guys just gotta understand that the game is fit for this specific region. I know people want national Pokedexes and stuff like that, and I hear them, but like, I just feel like we're just not at that time yet. I think it's gonna happen. I think Pokemon usually they wait for everything, and especially for them to make this type of to make the statement to clear it up. I text you, Mills. I was like, I wish they didn't do it because fuck them. I don't really care how everybody else feels about this. It's their decision.
Wise man once said
games.
nothing at all.
Right, exactly. And it's because to me, I'm sitting here well, every time they drop a new game, they break their own record. They break Nintendo's record. I don't if you guys are worried about not having, like you said, 1,000 Pokemon in one game or whatever. I don't really. It's more of a personal problem. I would have been like, that's a personal problem. We're still gonna sell this game. We're gonna put it out. It's gonna break the records. We're gonna break the Switch record. Whatever you guys are doing, you're still gonna go out and purchase this game, and it's gonna be good. So, I think at some point they'll take back what they They'll see what people have said, and they'll give it to us. I think eventually it'll happen.
I'm
Whatever
sure
the
we'll
game
get
may
an
be.
upgrade to Sword and Shield. We'll get
DLC, maybe a region unlocked DLC. I've always wanted something like that.
That's always been the ideal
I know
game,
y'all
right?
got the power to make to DLC release or season pass release a
DLC
whole
unknown
nother region.
cave. Yeah, exactly.
That'd be incredible. That would honestly, that would be it. I know it's okay, well, buy this season pass and unlock Kanto. I'm like, oh man, that's intense. But just like Ash has to start over every time he goes somewhere new. So it's what's this region called? Galay?
The Galar region.
Which sounds like kind of outer spacey for a region that's apparently based on fucking England.
Yeah.
Right, but there's not gonna be 1,000 Pokemon in here. Okay, so I understand people want to transfer them over and this, that, and the third, but if you guys know anything about playing competitive with eggs and where Pokemon are born and move sets and all this, is they can't add everything into this game because it would be a mess. I feel like in the long run, you'd be like, damn, maybe they should have just kept everything out like they said they would.
Right. I mean, yeah, maybe. I think the last major feature of the Sword and Shield game that was announced was the Dynamax feature, which I'm not excited for. I don't really care.
Is that where like they're extremely big or some shit?
Yeah, they just get giant.
No, we don't need these things.
I don't need it. Now, I feel like I told Mills prior, I was like, we'll probably, like, at least we know a bunch of people's going to buy the game. So we can do it, us together. But, like, as far as just, like, I'm not excited about it. Like, the incentive is probably cool. To me, it's just a weaker version of Pokemon Go's raids. So as long as they give us some incentive, like maybe the percentage of shiny goes up or, moves, I don't know, whatever. But I don't care for it at all. It's very like
it's going to be in the game. Like you're gonna have to face, and they're gonna force you to Dynamax your Pokemon. I'm sure they are.
I'm sure.
But Z moves, Mega Evolutions, I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah, I got over it pretty fast. I enjoyed Megas for a minute. I really did. I thought it was pretty cool. But the Z move stuff just made Sun and Moon like even. Just, I don't know, just simplify it even more. I'm like, damn, man, I can just Z-move this shit through the whole thing.
Yeah, I can already go in with, like, one, like, 10 PP super effective move and, like, wipe the floor with somebody.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
It's not,
That's the stuff that, like, that's the thing that really makes it feel like a gimmick for new people, where it makes me feel like the people who are pissed about stuff not moving over, I'm like, okay, they are, like, it does suck, like, that this, like, they're leaning into, like, this sellable gimmicks thing with the supersized Pokemon a little too much. Like, again, it doesn't really bother me either way, but if you're looking to be mad about it, I think you could be justified in that it's not like, none of us are excited about it, and we're lifelong fans.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be excited about it.
It's tough it doesn't look like it's for the 30-year-olds, that's for sure. You know what I mean? Like, as far as that's concerned, like, it
which, I mean,
doesn't look like it's made for us.
Maybe that's not what we should be complaining about, but we are.
Oh, yeah, we are. I mean, we still want our dues, though. Like, we talked about this before, Mills. Give us a proper anime. Give us a proper rated, teen something. Like, something more serious. So,
it's kind of crazy that hasn't happened yet, honestly.
I know.
They've been flirting with it. They flirt with it a little bit, but they don't really get to it. Like, I'm surprised. They introduced, between us recording the last podcast and this podcast, and even between the gameplay for this game and the last game, they introduced the Pokemon Masters game, which looks interesting. I don't know if it's I think it's for the phone. They had a nice trailer for it. It was essentially a trailer with an anime and things like that, and just people, and it was like, okay, that could be cool if they ever decided to do that. But I think they flirt with it more on the aspect of we're trying to sell something, and we know people want this, so we're only going to do it from the perspective of, like, okay, we'll give you something cooler, like what they did with how they were selling the other game before. I forgot, like the 20th anniversary or something, and they did that little anime series, which was pretty cool as well. Like, they did the same with this. It's interesting, but I don't think we'll ever.
Honestly, what I would be looking for would be like a not like a reboot, but like something that just starts on kind of like a 16-plus-year-old Ash, like just like at some ambiguous point after like that original anime run, and like they just kind of like, they don't really explain much about like past shit or anything, but they just kind of used that as like a starting point, and like then you like see old people and new people and shit, and it's just like, for older audiences. Like, that seems totally doable, and it could even be like an alt reality thing. Like, who cares?
Man, they're just so slow with stuff like that. We haven't even got to the point where they announced what we're about to talk about, Red, Blue, and Yellow on iOS. Like, when we get that, we'll probably get that at some point. But I'm
surprised that doesn't exist already.
I know, but I'm just saying, unless you're jailbreaking your phones, you ain't.
Yeah.
But I think it will happen at some point. It's just they really do things. They won't do it unless they feel like they truly have to. It doesn't matter. Like, they're gonna keep breaking these records. As far as the records and the sales of the games, I'm just like, sometimes when I remember when X and Y came out, I was like, I didn't really know this many people even really was playing 3DS that much. But like X and Y was so groundbreaking from like a success standpoint. Because visually they started to evolve what the characters look like, and obviously new generation and all that. But I don't know. There are some things that I wish that they did faster, or that they just noticed, or could just separate. There's a lot of different things to like their franchise, and a lot of different people still playing this game. I don't know if I know they gotta see that us as 29, 30-year-olds are still enjoying this product. So
take my money, please.
Yeah, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, it's yours, really. Like, you guys can do anything, like almost anything, and I will check it out. It's just I'll at least see if it's decent.
100%. I think we should get into the first generation games talk.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is the subject for this episode. It is Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, and Yellow.
Green, that's right.
The first generation bit of games. I want to know everybody's initial. I mean, this is everyone's initial foray into Pokemon. It just is, especially ours, considering our age. Do you remember the first time you got the game, and/or what game you had, and what was your initial experience with this? Was it because of the anime? Was it because of did you just pick it up on a whim? Was it because it was popular? Like, what do you remember most about it? This is like 1998, 1999.
I mean,
I vividly remember mine. It was anime before the game.
It was anime before the game. No, that's definitely.
That's probably most people.
Which was weird. Like, it was just, but I didn't even have a Game Boy at that point.
In terms of my experience going through this, I don't remember if it was the anime before the game. I want to say so, because Pokemon, like a lot of crazes in the 90s, once it became big everywhere. Like, it just became like, it's for instance, it's like Spice Girls. Spice Girls are big, and then they became everywhere. Then you get Spice Girls notebooks, and Spice Girl lollipops, and Spice Girl ice cream, and that's kind of how Pokemon was. Once it became a thing everywhere. It was in newspapers, and it was on TV, and it was in trading cards, and it was in video games, and there was a Pokemon Monopoly game.
And it was Japanese. It was not American.
Yeah, it was not American, which was like, what are the Japanese? They figured out something that we haven't figured out yet.
We haven't seen anything like this, and everybody kind of came together. See, this is what people who weren't around, or I won't say weren't around, but like just in there for this, like that 1997, 1998, that the craze. Like, I've still never seen anything like this. No. Like, going to the movie theaters, and then there's a line around the movie theater to see a movie. Like, the first time I ever seen like a movie like literally outside the movies is one of the Star Wars and the Pokemon first movie. I've never seen anything like that, like, to this day.
Yeah, it was crazy.
When these were out, I knew it was so awesome, because I'm very into basketball now, but growing up I was like never into sports at all. I was only into shit like this, and this was like in, I think, like third grade. The people who talking about Pokemon greatly outnumbered anything else, like 10-1. And so, like, it suddenly, like, the tables had turned, and it was amazing.
You weren't playing Pokemon. Like, if you weren't getting your cards taken, your Game Boys taken from your teachers, you weren't trading at lunch, whatever. It just didn't even, like, I didn't even know. Girls, boys, like, everybody was on it. There was no difference. Everybody was all about it. For me, I was the only child, so Pokemon Blue was the first game I had got.
When did you get it? Did you get it like when they came out?
Yeah, I got it when it came out, but I didn't really. I got it kind of blindly. I didn't ask for Blue or Red. It was a gift from my mom, and that was it for me. After that, man, the card game. I want to say the card game came out later, like November, or like really got big like a year or so later. And I was into the cards more than the show. I watched the show just because I was into the brand. but like the card game was everything to me. I probably ended up enjoying the card game a little bit more than the actual game for a while, because at this time I think I had just got to South Carolina. So they had this, I don't know if you guys know what a Books A Million is. I'm sure you know what Books A Million
Oh,
is.
hell yeah.
But that's where
Books
I
A Million
went.
is the third largest and probably second largest now retail chain in the country.
Right. I went to Books A Million, and we would, all the kids were there. We do our trading, our battling and all that. And then from there, you start learning more about the actual, about Pokemon. And I locked in, man. Just took it all in. It's like the ultimate experience. At that point, I'm buying the little Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy. It's like I remember buying the Ruby Sapphire pinball game.
I remember
of course.
Pokemon Pinball, the
Pokemon
one
Puzzle?
that the Rumble
Puzzle
Pack.
was fun too.
I played the initial Pokemon Pinball because it was just like, okay, when's the next game? And it was like, okay,
that game was really hard.
It was like, I need my fix now, so I'm just gonna play Pokemon Pinball. My first foray into this, my friends had the game. My next door neighbors had the game. They had Blue, and they had a Game Boy. None of which I had. I didn't grow up with any major systems until actually Pokemon Gold and Silver. No, actually Pokemon Yellow. So Pokemon, I remember I would kind of live vicariously through them. I watched the anime religiously, and looking back now, it's sort of the dates when the game came out. So Pokemon Red and Blue came out in North America September 28th, 1998. The anime started 20 days earlier, September 8th, 1998. So the anime came out around the same time the game did, which is kind of usually how it happens now. And that's
they had their assault against the Western world plan with this one.
It was just,
and they're like, we're gonna get them before the holiday season.
I remember that ad with like the bus driver and all the animated Pokemon getting on the bus. I was like, awesome. Mother of God, I have to get this. What is this?
They're on the school bus.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Hold on.
You don't remember that commercial? It was like Charmander.
It
was like Charmander. They all just jump on this school bus and like.
Yeah,
I'm watching it now.
But the animation was cool though.
Yeah,
it was
the animation that was in that original guide.
Yes. First of all, Ken,
No, we're gonna talk about it.
Oh my God, bro!
We're gonna talk about it.
Ken is a god, bro. Ken is a god, bro. Like his designs are godly.
So I initially played the game. Like my friends would let me play the game, but of course you could never save over their game because
one save slot.
Yeah, one save slot. Period.
Which is still a thing.
Yeah.
By the way, even on Pokemon Let's Go, the only way you can have an extra slot in Pokemon Let's Go is if you make a separate profile on your Switch to play it again. They don't want you fucking trading with yourself. Yeah, they don't. That's exactly what it is.
That's really what happens in another game, Pokemon, Go. You can just make however many counts you want. Mm-hmm. But I initially played through that, and then the first game I got was Pokemon Yellow, and I got it the day it came out. I was there. That was the first time I got my Game Boy Color.
Mills fucking lost his mind.
I played that. They had Team Rocket in it. Pikachu was following you around. Oh my God,
it was epic.
No, Pikachu actually, you clicked on it and it spoke.
Yeah.
Pikachu was the first real cry in the game. All the other cries were like fucking.
Yeah. Essentially. Oh my God. So that was my first.
I thought I saw it later than it must have initially been, because that what you just said, that September and then a few weeks later the game came out. I got the game that Christmas and I got it. I was so fucking funny. My grandmother had a Game Boy, like the original one, and had like Tetris and shit for it. And I asked for a copy of Pokemon for Christmas so I could play it when I was at my grandmother's house. Mm-hmm. Like, little did I know that I would need to play it every second I was awake. But I got that and a Game Boy Color, and it was like the greatest thing of all time. But before that, I'd been watching the anime, and I'd started watching it in the episode when all the Clefairy use metronome, which in the anime is depicted as like a lava geyser.
Yeah. It's whatever Clefairy wants it to be.
Yeah. So even like I remember like just being obsessed with it from after 2 episodes, and I'm sure my parents were like, "What is this like this Japanese cartoon?" And
Mhm. The
little did they know.
Pokemans, the Pokemans. I remember I heard that for
Yeah, that term, Pokemans.
yeah.
No, man, honestly, just not even exaggerating, man. All jokes aside, Pokemon changed my life, bro.
Oh, I agree
I
with you
was,
100%.
not to get mushy or anything, but I was the only child, for a long time. My brother was born when I was 19, so I didn't have me and my mom didn't have much, so it was just us. And this game, like my Game Boy Color, Pokemon, it just gave me something to zone away to and lock into. And it wasn't just this; they had all these other branches, like the card game, like the show, and from there, it becomes almost a lifestyle. Like you enjoy it. You do your schoolwork, you get home, or maybe you're not doing your schoolwork, and you get home and you turn on your game and you train your Pokemon, and you actually become attached to, I wasn't a
Of course.
nickname guy, but I know a lot of my friends would nickname their Pokemon and all
No,
that.
I
But
would not.
I was not a nickname
I'm
guy.
I
still
wasn't
not.
either. I wasn't. I'm still. I'm not either. But I'm just saying, like, it was just very. It just, even though it was fake and it was fantasy, it just felt so relatable for whatever reason.
It was so the world of it all. You got really so enveloped within the world because everything was affected by what you did, and everything felt bigger once you did it. Once you caught these things, and you got attachment to it, and then you're just like, okay, these people now I have to battle these guys. Oh, I'm better than them.
Yeah.
Let me go through that, and then you just remember every sort of aspect about
Just look
this
how
game.
far we've come, man. Like, we used to have to attach wires to trade. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
oh my God.
it's just like it's just crazy to think about.
It
Like,
barely happened for
if
me.
I wanted, I'm just saying, if I wanted to trade with Pat right now on my Switch, we could do it. You know what I mean? But like back then, I couldn't do it unless he's standing right next to me, and we both
Yeah,
spent
that was another
$40 on a
classic
cable
ad when they
cord.
released the link cable, because it was like two people who lived like in different apartments, and the link cable was like stretched across the alley, and they were trading that way. I can't believe I remember all these goddamn ads.
Oh,
Listen,
and let's not forget how
game-
hard it was to even get some of these. Like, if you wanted your Alakazam, you better have a homie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Right.
how they really got you. Not if like you
It
wanted
was.
somebody who was in the other game, but in like you had to evolve somebody. You had to get them traded and then get them back.
Didn't get him back. Yeah.
Well, that was the entire concept of making two different games, right? It was kind of ingenious the way they thought about it and the development of it.
A lot of games. It's happened later on. A lot of games took that.
Yeah.
And started doing it on their own.
Making two separate games, going to have two separate, only a certain amount of Pokemon available in each game, and they wanted that being able to connect with people and being able to you really communicate with people, and it still goes on to this day. I mean, the entire concept of Pokemon Go, the game, is to get you out and to get you communicating with people in your community or people outside or things like that. So many different things. You guys talk about link cables. I also remember the Game Boy printer that they wanted people to buy.
The printer, the little light that you would attach to the side so you can get it hit on your screen. I do want to say something real quick.
Sure.
To my friend Derek. And I've been waiting a lot. I'm glad we have this platform because I really just remembered. One of the big. I've never really met a whole lot of Pokemon haters, but one of the biggest Pokemon haters that I know, my homeboy Derek. You told me a few years ago that Yokai Watch was gonna take down this franchise, and I just wanted to, because he listens to our show. He listens to all of our shit. I just wanted to tell you, that you are absolutely wrong. Nobody's playing Yokai Watch, even when it came out in 2012 or 2013, whatever. It wasn't it. It will never be it. Digimon tried, and I thought Digimon was pretty cool, to be honest.
Digimon was sick.
Digimon gave it a little bit of a run for its money. Fox was like, we got one. We got our Pokemon.
They did. But
they only had a show. They didn't have shit else.
They didn't have shit else. Their games
were
today,
garbage.
though. Hey, listen though. Their games today are not that bad. I'm just saying, man.
Their games in the past were garbage.
I had Digimon World on PlayStation.
As did I play that as well.
And it was basically what I was hoping that Pokemon were going to do, but they just obviously never did it because it's a Nintendo product. But like, it was just made very poorly. You know what I mean? Like, but it was cool. Like you trained and the Digimon shit and you had to feed them, and
Yep.
they digivolved, which it was a great, like, it was a cool.
But depending on however complicated way you train them, they would either evolve into something good or something bad, and it
then
just
you had to
was.
de-digivolve them.
And I was just like, "F this game. I don't like this. I don't like this. I want Leomon or I want Angemon, and I can't even get it. And this is like my 8th try."
The one thing Digimon did great was selling those Digivices. I thought that I had every one that came out up until it got super corny.
I think I had like the second one, and that's it. But I mean, Pokemon did that too. Pokemon. I remember the little Digipets thing. Pokemon had that as well.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Well, let's get into the development of this game, and I won't bore too much because it is a little bit, of a story. Pokemon, or in Japan as they call Pocket Monsters, and initially the red and green, were released in 1996 in Japan, before 1998 release, and the key players in all this development. And the game actually started in development while it did come out in 1996. The game started in development in 1990.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it started long before, and it started with.
Did not know that.
Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, the GOAT, CEO of Game Freak. I don't think he's CEO of Game Freak. No, he actually. I think he still is. I'm confusing him with the CEO of Pokemon Company. Satoshi Tajiri. We had Ken Sugimori, the designer of the original artwork for Pokemon. We had Junichi Masada, worked on the programming for Pokemon in its early stages and the music, and we had Shigeru Miyamoto, Nintendo video game designer, producer of the early Pokemon games, and a lot. What he did, he was the one who was just like, hey, maybe you should make 2 games. Let's incorporate this link cable into this. I think he was because he worked for Nintendo. He was like, hey, how could we continue to make money with the things that we put out? So he had that. And was the link cable used for anything else but Pokemon? I'm trying to think that.
I wouldn't know. I'm sure there was something.
I wouldn't know.
No, it's true because I bought my link cable for that. So I mean, only other games I was playing was like, Mario RPG. And fucking like,
I guess
you could Zelda games, but like
Zelda,
but even the Zelda games that had that had 2 versions, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, but that they just gave you like a code to transfer your shit. You didn't need a link cable for that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe if they made that link cable just for Pokemon, then damn.
Listen, nobody got finesse like Japan because while we got Yellow, which was awesome, they got 2 special editions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody bought all of them.
Well, here's the thing. In Japan, Pokemon is religion. It is like culture. It is ingrained within it. It is still one of the most popular things in the country by far. And everything, even as much events as we'll get in America, there's 10 times the event, and it lasts for at least 7 days.
Why is there not a Pokemon Center in every state in America?
Because it doesn't work the same in America. I'm surprised. I'll tell you this. I'm surprised.
Work.
I'm surprised.
For sure it would.
I'm surprised that anime is still on in America.
Bruh.
Because
it's still going strong.
Listen.
I'm just still surprised it still exists in America. I would not be mad if they stopped airing it in America and just continue to air in Japan. I would understand.
I know, but
it still airs in America.
I've had friends who don't watch Pokemon ask me how it is, and I'm like, well, I personally don't care for it, but I got a 10-year-old brother, bruh, these motherfuckers be watching this shit still, bro. I think we're just older, so we don't, we're not digesting it the same because we're not paying attention to it like that. But these kids is coming home and still watching this shit.
It's changed networks. Now it's on Disney XD or whatever the hell it is now, and it's changed networks so many
Ash has
times.
A weird voice.
Oh yeah, all the stuff.
Ash, man, Ash is getting more and more like Dominican, Puerto Rican every time I see him.
We're definitely gonna have an episode on the anime itself. But yes, it was started developing in 1990. It was initially pitched to Nintendo, but it wasn't sold as easy. However, they were given the fund to produce the game. It took them 6 years because they were also the people who were producing this game were helping developing other games. The result was Pokemon Red and Green for Game Boy, which was initially people were initially skeptical about it because their Game Boy was like, people still play Game Boys, like what the hell? Like so it was kind of risky. It was originally titled Capsule Monsters. There's a whole bunch of things we'll get into in terms of just original. The popularity of this entire thing, kind of the fact that it felt like the game spawned the anime and so many other things, is just 100. It's like completely backwards how things happen today. Like you would never have, I don't think the power of a game could spawn so many different things today.
I mean, maybe Minecraft, but not nowhere near this level.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's like it has to be extremely popular. Like it has to touch so many people, I feel like, to push it to that type of level to, from the game, and you get movies and television and merch and jewelry.
There's no game character as famous as Pikachu that has come out since.
And what's crazy is that if you deep dive so deep into this entire thing.
I was gonna say, how do you guys feel if they went with the other mascot?
So the other mascot was initially supposed to be, I believe it was supposed to be Clefairy, right?
It was. Yeah, they actually, some of the early manga stuff, like Clefairy was with red and blue, or was with blue, because that was going to be, Clefairy was supposed to be the Pikachu. It was supposed to be the mascot, correct?
Yeah, and then they just switched it, and it worked. Anything they would have put us would have worked. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Clefairy
would have Clefairy have worked?
Clefairy was cute enough, but like ultimately in the end, they made the right decision, considering Pikachu is basically still untouched besides its design. Yeah. It's like Clefairy now has changed typings and has new evolutions, and you know what I mean?
Clefairy's too bland. Like people could recognize, like, oh, this is an electrically charged like rabbit bunny thing. Like
yeah. Go ahead.
I think it was. There's no way. Like Pikachu is so iconic. There's no way something else could have had the same level of magic to it. I think.
Let me ask you this, Pat, because there's not a lot of like, I feel like these companies or these brands, they do like their mascots. I feel like, how tough is it to, because I know you're in the film and stuff like that as well, but like in general, it's like, how tough is it to create a mascot to truly carry a platform? I'm talking about Sega and Sonic and Mario and Nintendo and Sony back in the day had, I would consider like, the Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah. I mean, it's extremely difficult. I don't know. I mean, I would say the three you named, Mario, Sonic, and Pikachu, are probably the only 3 times it's ever truly been done. Because Final Fantasy, despite its name recognition, has no, like, people don't know Cloud. I mean, like, people who play the games do, but like, Cloud, if you saw him on a t-shirt, right, you wouldn't know who he was.
Right. Like, my mom can point out, Pikachu, Sonic, she's not gonna know who Cloud is off the top.
Yeah,
of her
exactly.
head, right?
So I would say it happens rarely, and I mean, even now, like nobody in the new Marvel movies is as famous as Spider-Man, and he's not famous because of the new Marvel movies.
Right.
So, like, it's not easy to do.
It's this entire development of this game went through so many ups and downs. Like, the way it was developed for years, and they're just going through the music, the Pokemon itself, the designs itself, everything like that. Like, it took so much to actually make I'm thinking about just the development of the game, and it's like, yo, how deep? I don't think I could ever develop a game. I don't know. I feel like there's so many layers of thinking and so much things you have to storyboard and so many things you have to actually like think of before. Like, for them to think of like encountering Pokemon, catching them, and being able to train them, and then having to go against other trainers, and then you go through trainers, but there's also a story, and then when there also is a story, there's also like,
then you have to do stats,
like their stats and all this other thing. What makes one stronger than the other?
Yeah, they took a RPG role playing idea and simplified it, because really, Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow were fairly difficult to me when I was younger.
They were extremely difficult.
Right, yeah. I mean, just to be honest, but like, when I play them nowadays, I see, I mean, it's like, well, it's a simplified RPG, the ideas are, I don't think they're like super complex, but like at that time, I didn't have anything like that. I wasn't playing Final Fantasy at that point. Yeah, I think the most difficult
especially
game,
to be handheld.
Yeah, the most difficult game I think I had played at that time were probably, some Zelda game or something like that. But like, and those were tough for me. But
Right.
Pokemon, I wanted to figure it out. It was just,
Mm-hmm.
I bought strategy guides. Like, that was just the thing. It's like, see, well, back then, the book, you kind of got a mini strategy guide when you bought the game because the books were pretty
Thick.
Thick. And now you get one sheet or no sheets inside your, inside your games. But yeah, man, it was a different time. Like I don't know, man. It was special. It was just special. If you were there, the first 2 years of the release of the game, and you got to experience red, blue, or yellow. I mean, exactly how you felt.
They had like this air of mystery around them too. That like because they were like in such a like before they were like before they became like Ruby Sapphire even like they were still so rudimentary in terms of like as a video game like.
Mm-hmm.
It was still almost arcade style in a lot of ways. Obviously not, but the MissingNo glitch worked. Like that's
it worked
crazy.
Every time.
Worked. Like it worked with like the most bizarre way to do something, and then like this the sixth slot. Like it was so crazy.
Moving your rare candy to the sixth slot, flying to what is it?
The Cinnabar Coast.
Yes, and just going up and down on the side.
Can I tell you? Oh, we're gonna get into it after it, but I watched.
I'm just saying,
multiple videos on why that thing existed. So
and it's totally crazy.
It's crazy, but it's also like when you're thinking of once you figure out how it is, and then you think of like programming in the 90s, and like
it makes sense when you think about
it. Just when you eventually like we'll talk about MissingNo.
Yeah, all I mean from that is like the games had this sense of like mysteriousness that like because that was real, like the thing with the pickup truck or like anything else like seemed like it could be real. And
they put it there. It's like it's there, and you're like, "Why is this here?"
Exactly
it's because of MissingNo that all these other things are so okay. But you can get Mew if you do these two things, and you could go under the truck. Like it's really because of MissingNo and the fact that it was in the game
over here,
and the fact that it was available. You're liable to believe anything. It's like okay,
man, the Mew truck shit is hilarious because I tried it, bro.
I still believe it could happen.
No,
it didn't work.
I know. I just mean like a part of me still wants to believe it was real because
you have to faint
so
in the
crazy.
SSN. You got to faint in the SSN and then just come back at the end before the ship leaves to even swim over there because you can't enter that section of the SSN after the ship leaves. So
yeah,
you got to get cut, get fainted, and then finish the game and then come back. The ship leaves when you walk back, and then you just swim over. There is a truck; it's there, but like
you can't do anything.
You can't do anything with it. Yeah, but it's just like it's cute.
But like the internet was like you could only read stuff on like message boards that like your parents were like, "Get off the internet. We need to use the phone." And so you're like, I don't know if this is real. Like this says if I stand in this Pokemon Center for 2 hours, I'll be able to get a purple Raticate. Like
I've heard. The rumor I heard was you press up and B as you throw the Pokeball in the middle of the air, and it becomes a Master Ball, and you can catch anything guaranteed.
See, for me, it was down and B, and honest to God, I still do it every time I throw one.
Yeah, did you guys hold the
A button?
The down analog and left?
No,
to hope to stay for Pokemon to stay in the Pokeball.
No,
I did down and B.
This shit didn't help, man. It didn't.
No,
help,
not at all.
But I still did it because it became a habit.
Yeah, it's same.
It was like crossing your fingers or something.
Well, let's get into the gameplay's actual self.
Sure.
We'll step from the development. We'll get to all the rumors and all the cool shit and all afterwards and all the glitches and all the things that were developed afterwards. But the gameplay, all right. Big question. I played this game multiple times. Probably considering how many remakes there are and how many times I played red, blue, yellow, all these other things I played so many times. I played with every starter.
I played with every starter before, yeah, definitely.
I've played with all of them.
Favorite starter. Favorite starter.
I love Charmander. My first starter ever was Squirtle, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I think mine was too.
Yeah, mine was Squirtle. I actually had a lot of the first time I went with Bulbasaur. People hate on. I mean, I like Bulbasaur. I really do. First of
I
all,
do
you can
too.
get
He's
you can
awesome.
get through the first two gyms fairly simple with him, and I think he evolved quicker. I think
Yeah, I think he did.
Venusaur was 32. I think level 32.
Mm-hmm.
Ivysaur was plus. I loved the way Ivysaur stood on both his hind feet.
Oh yeah, he was.
in
Yeah.
in the sprite. So I thought that was pretty cool. But Charmeleon looked great. I was always a fan. I probably picked Squirtle less, like going forward because he was my first. But yeah, man.
I know the first time I beat the Elite Four, I did it with a lineup that I had picked Squirtle in.
Yeah, same.
But
Blastoise was the guy for me.
Yeah, he was great. But I mean, Charizard's a dragon. Like you can't lose.
Yeah, you can't lose.
So definitely, I remember my first one was definitely Squirtle. My favorite one would probably have to be Charmander. Just because it's like you remember, because it's such a harder route getting through the game with those, with considering Brock.
Yeah,
Brock's Onyx was a bitch.
If you had to fight it with Charmander, you fought it for a long time. You might have evolved the Charmeleon.
It depends, though. Yeah. It depends. Because we got to get into our teams because I would manhandle Brock usually because I was a Butterfree guy.
Well, yes, of course. Butterfree, if you manage to go
once you get confusion, I think at level like 13, I will go back to the forest, and I'll just train up Caterpie, get him. Once I got that Butterfree, I handled Brock pretty well. If I started with Charmander,
training was a pain back in those days.
It was hard.
It was like you had to make it your first slot, and then essentially sometimes you're just switching out. You're just like, I just need you to have the experience. So
Nils, you had yellow first.
I had yellow first.
Did you ever get Pidgeotto?
The Pidgeotto? Of course I did.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. If you grabbed that Pidgeotto in the forest in the beginning, because I think it was like a point. There's like a 2% chance of it popping up or something. Like I remember I told you I was playing on my 3DS and I was looking for it because I was playing Yellow a few months ago.
Right.
It took me a while. Like it took me a long time, even like a few months ago, to like get it to spawn.
Wow. No, I definitely got it. And I used it throughout the game.
I think it's like a level 10 too.
Like, yeah, it's like 9 or something.
9 or 10. I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
I love it when the shit in the wild is like impossibly low leveled for something that's evolved. I guess it just works different in the wild because, like, they're from the rough and tumble. They don't have they're trainers.
Oh my god! Listen, hold on. God, all right. So, I also want to get in everybody's teams because this is the easiest it's gonna get. It just is because there's 150 Pokemon. There's not that many. You know which ones you didn't pick or you would never pick. But which ones did you pick?
Well, I know I said the first time I beat the game, it was with Blastoise, but I remember the first time I played it, I must have restarted at some point because I definitely picked Charmander and those gyms were impossible. Like I thought the game was so hard because of, fighting Brock and Misty with somebody who's like sucked against them.
Well, hold on. All right. So for the starters,
hey man,
the short-term game. Well, the short-term game is obviously either Bulbasaur or Squirtle that you pick in the beginning. But for the long term, like when you think in long term, the best one it's
Blastoise to me, man.
It might still be. It might
Charizard gave me a lot of trouble. Like Charizard gives me a lot of trouble in Elite Four.
Yeah, and Blastoise is really good against the final at least two gyms.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the 6th gym?
I think it's
Sabrina.
Sabrina, yeah.
They're all fine against her, except Venusaur probably.
But okay.
I remember the first time I remember seriously hunting for somebody was Clefairy in Mount Moon because I saw it and I was like, "What the hell is that?" And then I had to walk around again until I could find one.
Yeah, it was rare.
I think part of my first team, I definitely had Butterfree. I for sure had Butterfree.
Butterfree was the man. I told you, my Butterfree used to really just like... Butterfree I pulled out when I really had issues because you got a psychic move really early. Like confusion was very OP like early on, and I realized how dope.
I think I'm experiencing a 4th of July earthquake, you guys.
Oh
Hey.
shit.
Yeah. Hang on
During the pod? Yeah,
give me 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's totally fine, but hang on, let me just clarify that I'm not hallucinating.
Yeah, you don't want.
Is there an earthquake?
Are you still recording?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Hang on, just a second. There was an earthquake. Give me
Everyone's initial teams. Let's talk about it because, I mean, I think I definitely had. I talked about I had Butterfree before. I feel like I definitely also had Pikachu in the original, not like Pikachu in yellow, like duh, of course, but like, by the way, Pikachu in yellow also hard, like,
yeah,
because you can't evolve it and it has to be on your team, and you can't evolve
like, it. If you want the show, you got it.
Yeah,
you got it. That's it. Simple as that.
And it wasn't any stronger than it was. I think they actually did make it stronger for yellow, but it wasn't like
they did. Yeah,
it wasn't any stronger. Like if you attach like a light ball to it, and now it's like actually formidable, kind of.
Which is still an awesome like tradition that they kept. That you could have a Pikachu that was just feasibly playable because you had a light ball on it.
Yeah, 100%. At Fat Pikachu.
Fat Pikachu.
The legend.
Allegedly coming back.
Who?
In the new one.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that there's some like point in the game when like I think it's one of his like alt forms or something. I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be sick. I'll be okay with that.
I think that when I sent you guys that picture of him and I said retro OG, I meant it seriously. They're actually bringing him back.
Interesting.
I'm all here for that.
Were you guys a catch everything, or you just only caught the things you wanted?
Never been a catch everything.
Yeah.
Never cared about it.
I just if I ran into it and I didn't have it, I'd catch it, but like I didn't make it like a thing where I got my strategy book open and I'm seeing what's in that area. Like I started doing that much later though. Like I did it for Let's Go because I won. Like I finished Let's Go. I finished the Pokédex, but that's what I was doing, like I was like, all right, I'm gonna catch everything because that's basically what this game is.
Right.
But for this, no, I was too into training.
Yeah, and there were some that I just liked way more than others. Like there was like I was never gonna have like Paris. I didn't like. I just not a Pokemon I was gonna use.
Parasect looked cool in this game.
Parasect was cool.
Yeah, it looked cool in this game. At least I'm looking at all the old sprites now because we linked it in.
Those Pokédex entries were creepy, man. Like, Parasect is a strange Pokemon.
Let's see. What else did I have? I felt like in terms of things I would definitely catch. Like if I'm thinking about how I was before, I would have caught an Oddish. I would have caught a Zubat because bats are cool.
You know who was mandatory to get? Diglett, because he was so strong.
So strong. And you could get three on that cave too.
Yeah, against Lieutenant Surge, had to get Diglett.
Let's see. I don't think I got Growlithe wasn't until the end of the game anyway, so you couldn't really get it.
No, Growlithe was in red in between going to Lavender Town and going to Saffron.
Really?
So there's that patch of grass.
Oh, and they had Ponyta, the other game.
Correct. It was if you had blue, there were Vulpix in there, and if you had red, it was Growlithe in there.
Right.
I love Vulpix is probably my favorite Pokemon of all time.
Yeah, I love Vulpix.
And I finessed myself because I got red.
Yeah, so you had Growlithe.
Yeah, I had to trade, even though I never really cared that much about trading either to get Vulpix. I had to do it.
I think Mankey was early on in red too. Like you could get Mankey super.
Yeah, you could have got Mankey like before, like somewhere like
before by Mount Moon, I think.
No, it was like
no. It was right. You know when you fight red first, like
in that little square. No one will remember.
Elite Four is like if you're walking to Elite Four.
Oh yes.
And Spearows are. That's where Mankey
were definitely there. I remember that because I didn't discover that until like way after I beat the game. In terms of other things I would have caught, I don't think I would have caught a Machop.
I had Magmar, Dragonite, Cloyster, Butterfree, Blastoise.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And then later on, I had
That's
to
tanks.
trade with Scott to get my Gengar. And only reason I had to have that because I wanted to keep Butterfree basically forever.
So there was a glitch with Ghastly and Ghost types in this game. Ghost type. Well, I don't know if it was much of a glitch as much of like, damn, we really didn't think about this. There was a TM for, I believe it was either self-destruct or explosion. But since Ghastly was a ghost type, Ghastly could learn to move, but it was a normal move.
Yeah.
But since Ghastly was a ghost type, it never affected him. So you could essentially get a shit ton of damage and you would never die.
You know they changed it later.
Oh yeah, they 100% changed it because I abused that terribly.
like in the actual game, like in the cartridges. Like I don't know if they started reproducing the game, so they just fixed it.
The typing things in the first gen, I didn't have it all figured out until probably the second gen. I'll be honest with you.
Neither did they.
Yeah, they didn't either. I'm about to say they didn't either. Don't worry, man. Just nothing to be ashamed of.
And then nothing with like there was no special. I think there was no special defense or special attack, right?
I think there had to be.
Nah, there was no special.
It was speed, attack, defense. No, special attack.
Go ahead.
Something was missing.
Something was
special
messed up.
Defense. I think it was special defense.
Something was missing in that game for sure because the way I think the second or third, I think it was the second generation, ended up changing kind of everything because then they sort of added a statistic. Hold on, I can definitely.
I know I'm looking right now because it's bothering me.
Oh my god. Hit points, of course, is the special attack. When was it added? I'm trying to figure it out. Accuracy was another weird thing that. It was just special. It was never special defense or special attack. It was just special.
Okay, that's crazy.
It was special.
Sand attack was OP back then. Like you do sand attack twice, 3 times, it's a wrap for whoever you face.
Oh yeah,
as a kid, these moves were happening to me, and I was like, I don't know what these fucking words mean.
I know, right?
It was like you get a 2 minimizes off as a muck, and it was like, damn, I can never hit you now.
Onyx would do screech on me and then hit me with like a fucking tackle, and I'm like dead. I'm like, well, how did that kill me?
Oh my god!
What do you mean my defense fell harshly?
Yeah, well, yeah. What? That doesn't seem fair.
Harshly. Oh my god! I'm looking through the Pokédex now. I'd never had. Oh my god! Execute looks so cool. I never had. I remember looking for Chansey.
I think Chansey was in what could you buy? Couldn't you buy
Safari
Chansey?
Zone?
Oh no, you couldn't buy Chansey from the slot machines, could you?
No.
Porygon was in there. I think Dragonair.
I think there was a Dratini and a Dragonair.
Dratini, Dragonair, and Porygon.
Right.
Because that was the only way to get Porygon.
Yeah, it was.
Were you guys fans of the Safari Zone?
Yeah, because Scyther and Pinsir were in there, and Lapras.
I don't think I was a fan of them.
No, Lapras was in Saffron City.
Oh yeah, you're right. What water Pokemon? There was something.
Well, you could get Dratini there.
Dratini was in there, but it was difficult to find.
You had to fish for him.
Yeah.
I didn't like. Now that I'm thinking about it, I may have. Kangaskhan was 100% there. That's legitimately the only reason why I ever went there. Was for Kangaskhan.
You got to get Surf out of Safari Zone too.
Yeah, it was legitimately one of the only reasons why I got there because the Safari Zone in the initial game, I don't think I liked it as much as I want to say I probably did now because of the timer and the amount of you had to really like know the area to get around in there.
It was a confusing area.
Yeah. Because you essentially went in one part and it's just like there's also some guy's house there. I remember there was some guy's house.
I think that's where Surf was.
Yeah, or something like that.
Then you have to give him a juice or something? Didn't you have to give him something? What do you?
It was just.
I can't remember.
Safari Zone is so.
There was only a few reasons to be in there. It was Dratini, Scyther, Pinsir, Kangaskhan, Surf.
Surf was definitely there. Let's see. Early memories of playing this game. Oh my god. Any memories, just in general, of anything in this game?
I just remember how, even after getting a guide, how difficult it was. Like, even because like it was just like all like hearsay with like the jackasses you went to school with.
Right.
It wasn't. Even though it was so popular, there wasn't the internet. Like that didn't exist. So it still had.
If somebody said something, you had to kind of believe it and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Motherfuckers was telling me about a Mew 3, and I was like, "Where's he at?"
Mew3.
Yeah,
right.
I'm getting him.
I'm getting him.
Like I got him right here. Let's see. Snorlax.
Snorlax.
Snorlax. Let's
The
talk about
flute.
Snorlax for a little bit and the Poke Flute and how you ever had to wake him up.
Well, first of all, in order to talk about this, we got to talk about Lavender Town and how fucking creepy it was.
Still creepy.
Still
the
creepy
goat
to
music.
this day.
Goat music.
So
Pat,
good.
how'd you like it in Let's Go?
I haven't played it. I haven't played Let's Go.
Oh, I thought you. Oh, okay.
No,
Well,
no. When I say main games only, I really like.
no, it's cool. No, I get it. They basically keep it fairly like they don't change much. It's the music's still there. They
The
obviously.
weird thing is like, what do
freshen
you
it,
mean
but-
they died?
Yeah,
Like-
it's like this. The sickest shit was like realizing that you killed that you killed Blue's Raticate.
Yeah, like, what's going on here?
Like he had to go bury his Raticate because you fainted him on the SSN, or was it a Raticate?
I think it probably was.
I think it was. You fainted him, and then you run into him later, and he's like, "I'm here to say goodbye to my." I'm like, "Damn, bro, I didn't mean to kill him on the boat, man."
Well, the story of Lavender Town is really probably one of the more darker things in the entire game. Just because it's like, okay, the Cubone's mother that's dead, and Team Rocket is trying to do its thing there, and we'll talk about Team Rocket in a bit, but and you have to go all the way up, and they're actual legit things that they're listed as ghosts in the game.
Had to get that Sylph scope.
Yeah, had to get the Silk Scope to end up seeing that it was a Marowak. He had to battle the dead Marowak.
Couldn't catch it.
Couldn't catch it. No,
Couldn't catch it.
couldn't catch it at all. Interesting.
That
Interesting.
Marowak was a beast too, by the way.
Yeah, it was
one of
so
the more
good.
harder battles in the game.
Actually, I gotta say, I know we were shitting on nicknames earlier. The only time I think I've ever nicknamed something was like 2 years ago. I nicknamed a Marowak Cubone's mom.
Oh man.
Oh my god. That part was entirely. Let's see. Going through the game. HMs.
Devastating.
Yeah, just terrible, man.
They fucking sucked.
They sucked, man. I think
Shout out to Surf.
Surf was special. Fly was special.
Fly was great.
And
Surf was special.
Strength did like 70, so I could live with Strength, but Cut, goddamn it, was like. Oh,
you needed Cut. You just needed Cut.
And are you guys ready to talk about Flash?
Flash.
That's so stupid.
Flash is the worst. Flash is the worst HM I've ever experienced. Still,
Like,
Do you remember which HM it was?
It was
3?
5.
5? Wait. What was Surf? 6?
Surf was 3.
Oh, Surf was 3.
Surf was 3. Cut was 1. What was 2? Oh my god. Now I'm trying to remember. Oh, it's gonna kill me. I want to get on top of my head. HM2 was, I think it was, no, Strength was 5.
I went through that Diglett cave and thinking I was come out and get something dope. And
2 was
motherfucker just
Fly.
gave me Flash, man.
HM1 was Cut. HM2 was Fly. HM3 was Surf. HM4 was Strength. HM5 was Flash. HM6 was
Strength.
no. Gosh, I forget. Maybe there
Were
were
there only 5 in that first one?
It might.
Yeah,
have been.
I might have been Waterfall later.
That was
Yeah.
the most bullshit one of all time.
Wasn't
No,
Dive in HM later?
Dive was the most bullshit one of all time.
Dive was bullshit, but at least you were like, oh shit, I'm underwater. Like anything could
that's
happen
cool,
now.
I guess. Anything could happen.
But
Yeah,
here's
there
the
were
thing.
only 5 in Gen 1.
I think I'm glad they sort of abolished them now because they realized that you're kind of wasting a slot, and a lot of these HMs were only kind of used for one area specifically of the game. And there was Flash with that dark cave. You had no other use for Flash. Maybe
It wasn't even a good accuracy lowering.
No,
move.
it wasn't good at all. You had to essentially use it. I remember just throwing it on a dummy once. Now they call them HM slaves, but now I just remember throwing it on a.
The term makes me uncomfortable.
It does. But
So
I just-
are we the only ones? If there's anybody else who went through Rock Tunnel without Flash, please.
I went
tweet
without
us.
Flash.
Oh yeah,
Flash.
yeah.
Please tweet us
If you
because
had to
we
do
did.
it,
you had enough light and you had enough movement around in the game where you could kind of figure it out. But the first time, no. The first time I would never go.
And the only reason you could is because you could still see the walls.
Yeah, and the ladders.
In the ladders, that's it.
Just like walk around until you fucking hit one, and then it was like, oh, this was the greatest miracle of all time.
Other than that, you're getting jumped by Zubats and
rocket people. I just don't like them.
I kept now I keep a super repel, max repel on deck.
Well, the worst Zubats are the ones where they just randomly tell you can't escape.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And then he hits you with a supersonic, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah, now I'm stuck here.
Now I'm punching myself in the face.
Do you guys remember using TMs much? And what was like? I don't even know if I could say favorite TM. TM.
My favorite TM was
you could only use once, by the way.
Bubble Beam. When I got Bubble Beam from Misty, I was on because my Blastoise was a beast with it.
Oh yeah,
Bubble Beam was great.
Technical machines, by the way, yes, for those who.
And yeah, you can only use them once. Yeah, nowadays obviously they stay in your.
That's
in your box,
crazy, by the way.
What, you didn't only use them once?
No, that you could like when they switched them to being able to use them more than once.
Oh yeah, you could basically put.
That's one of the craziest things they've ever done.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like just went over. Like everybody was like, okay, cool. Like
well, because everybody wanted to teach Toxic to every single person on their team.
Yeah, it's crazy that
specific things that you need to have sometimes if you're depending on how you're.
I would say, given what we know now, like I would never have said this at the time, but what we know now, Toxic is probably the best one. It's also looking at it. It's the only poison TM in Generation 1.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. You're right because Copa gives it to you, doesn't he?
Yeah, because there wasn't really any great offensive poison type moves. There still aren't that many. I mean, there are now. I think in Gen 5 when they started making Venoshock and a couple other things.
Yeah, Gunk Shot.
And all this other stuff. They started incorporating a lot better TMs for this, but poison type was not a great effective attacker in the game, and it wasn't for a long time. Same with Steel when it eventually was introduced in Gen 2, which we'll talk about in another episode. Also
poison type Pokemon have come a long way.
They've come a long way. By far the strongest in Gen 1 were like psychic types and dragon types. Psychic was so, I feel like there wasn't a reputable weakness except Ghost.
Psychic was OP. It was the most OP typing.
They could still hit Ghost.
In
some circumstances. The show was very misleading about that.
Yeah.
Way too OP. I mean, honestly, if you found a way to get Alakazam was the strongest. Like, it's just
one of the strongest in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything with him. Now, I mean, obviously, we know Mewtwo is,
Just thinking about like him, like Alakazam, Dragonite, like that certain tier of people who are like actually like untouchably powerful.
Yeah,
it's so funny because nowadays it's like I'll turn on, Sun and Moon. I'm like, shit, I'm bodying people with my fucking I'm bodying psychic types with like my Toxapex, like
or random bug type.
Man.
Like they've leveled out the game, but they've also made what was initially a couple of the strongest types in the game, and they kind of made them useless. Like Dragonite is no one uses Dragonite anymore, and Dragonite was a fairly strong, especially in this first. When you talk about the first 150 Pokemon, Dragonite is really one of the most elite in the game. Dragonite,
unquestionably,
its moveset was incredible. Dragon types didn't really have any weakness except Ice, and then Ice you can barely find, and Ice was not a strong offensive.
A lot of people weren't
either.
training Ice types.
Nobody
was riding around with like a Dugong or
you gave Blizzard or you gave Ice Beam to whatever water type you knew, and
basically
I would have done an Ice type, but it was too rare. Like there just wasn't enough going on.
Yeah, it was pretty much the Ice types in Gen 1. There's Lapras, there's Jinx.
One of the reasons I had Cloyster, by the way. That's why Cloyster made my team. Yeah, that's why Cloyster made my team.
Oh wow, okay.
Cloyster was strong too.
Cloyster had that defense, man.
Yeah,
you couldn't do nothing with him.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see, technical machines. A lot of slow movement in the game. If you play this game now in 2019, you're wondering why the hell aren't you moving any faster?
Can't even run. Bike, no bicycle.
Hope you got your bike, man.
Yeah, I mean,
wait, did they have a bicycle in that one?
They had a bike.
Yeah,
okay.
Later on.
Oh yeah, you got it in Vermilion.
Yeah.
So weird thing about this game, in sort of development of the game, they don't move the character in the game. In terms of how it's designed, the map moves instead.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
I never even thought about
That's
that.
probably how they kept the game so clean.
Yeah, it saved them a lot of space.
Yeah, I figured much. I was going to say if the map is the one, if the map is moving and the character's not, I mean that it would make sense because sometimes my Gameshark would go crazy,
Right.
and I would just be walking and like I would leap over the boundary of the game,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and it would. Have you ever like? You'd
Yes.
be like, oh, oops.
Right.
And then you'd be like, oh shit, now I'm fucked.
yeah.
Now I'm walking into erasing my game.
You just got to turn it off. You just got to turn it
Yeah.
off.
And like pray that when you turn it back on, like, I'm sorry, man, I'm never gonna cheat again.
I can't
I
believe
did.
we all had a Gameshark.
Yeah, man. Gamesharks were first of all they were expensive
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
So and obviously we were kids, so it's not like we were paying for it. But to get my mom to buy, I want to say it was like a $40 Gameshark or something like, and it was not easy. I mean, you gotta like really be careful, or you could tank your whole shit. So
Yeah, and also convincing somebody to buy something that was the same price as a game wasn't one, and in
Very
fact just
tough.
let you cheat at them.
very
Like,
tough.
it was not easy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to get one. I used it more in Gen 2 than I did Gen
But
1.
first of all, typing in those codes, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unreal.
God, dude, just the worst. I had to go to like, what did you guys use? I used Cheat CC at the time. Cheat Code Central, I think
I
it was
feel
called.
like
Yeah, that's what I used.
I feel like I used that too.
I wouldn't have remembered it, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah.
Cheat
That's
Code Central, Cheat CC, man. I think it's still around too.
Did you guys use GameFAQs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
No.
probably not obviously not for this, but later on, definitely.
I might still have an account on GameFAQs.
I had one for years and years, and then they were really really antsy about spoilers for the final Harry Potter book, and the book came out right around the time that Sopranos ended.
Mhm.
And I posted something that was like final 2 Harry Potter chapters leaked, and it was just the final 2 Sopranos episodes with all the nouns swapped out for Harry Potter nouns, and I got banned for life from GameFAQs.
Oh my God, dude. What
That
a
is-
story, dude.
So I legitimately logged back into my GameFAQs account. I don't know how. I remember my username. So I'll say this. My username was the BK Bomber 316, which I would never use anymore.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
oh my god.
Jeez, Mills.
I've been a member since May 24, 2003.
Hell yeah.
And my last visit was November 22nd, 2015. I don't remember when I visited that. And I have
just was bored and went on there.
3,790 karma. Oh my god. Wow. And my favorite boards were the rap boards and the television and wrestling, and oh my god. And people still post on this. People posted on this today.
Yeah, people post it.
Yeah.
It's still really popular.
Wow. Okay. That was a nice little aside.
Yeah. GameShark got us off, man.
Gameshark. I had it. I remember using it. I thrived on it. At this point, not beating the game. Like, I'll just do whatever.
Yeah. I didn't do it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I didn't.
Not like,
the first like 10 times I played this game, I did not have a GameShark. But
Yeah, it
later
was
on,
like
I got
you
one.
do everything and then you do all the cheating.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you guys leveled up your Pokemon and they did not obey you?
Sure, it happened, but because of the game, the way that which was very smart on their behalf, by the way.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, it happened to me plenty of times. You just overtraining, or like you have a Pokemon that's really good and you're just using him because you're just aggravated and you're in a tough spot, so you're just trying to get through it.
Right.
That
And
was
then
how they really kept it in check, was that you didn't just use your starter.
You couldn't just use a starter, and if your starter got over level 30 and you can only obey at 20 or whatever 40, and it can only obey
Charizard is loafing around.
Yeah, it happened.
Charizard has decided to go to sleep.
And then it just went to sleep, and you had to switch them out. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Sometimes that like you get a new badge and it'd be like, Pokemon will up to this level will now obey you, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I don't need it that high. That's
Yeah. I ain't getting
Level
there yet.
70 and above will now obey you. And it's
yeah,
like,
I'm like,
gonna-
okay, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Did any
my-
of you guys, when you guys passed Giovanni's gym in the beginning of the game, did you think that was even like, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together about like this was going to be the last gym. I just thought it was something I couldn't go to at the moment.
I did not, especially at such a young age, and I will say that it's still like one of my favorite reveals
It
in
is.
anything, not just in games, but like TV, movies, anything. It's one of my favorite twists.
That's hilarious.
It's true. His gym, he was legit too. Giovanni was pretty difficult.
Because he like spins around in his like little 2D. It's like, I'm the gym leader. It's like, oh whoa.
You're
Oh,
like,
my God.
but everyone knows you're the mob boss. Like, your name is fucking Giovanni.
Oh my
You
God.
run Team Rocket, and everybody knows it, but you just own this gym.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's kind of awesome.
It is. He's untouchable, man. He's untouchable.
He's listen, you go through it. Oh well, all right. So let's do the discussions about gym leaders and gym.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this.
Yeah, sure.
We're just gonna so let's run that, because all of these gym leaders, I think, well, there's a couple who are like, I guess, iconic people who you remember.
These are the gods to me. These are the OGs.
You definitely remember Brock.
Yeah,
of course.
Brock and Misty almost don't count because they're like
in the anime, and they're all ingrained in Pokemon lore and everything like that.
Yeah, and they're so much better in the anime than they are in the games, I think.
I agree. They have more Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Misty's got like some real shit going on in real life. But
I loved when Brock had like rock types only, but then also had Vulpix because he was a simp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a breeder, guys. He's a breeder. What does that mean? I don't know, but he's a Pokemon breeder.
He watches Pokemon have sex.
Oh my God.
Weirdo.
So Jim and Misty don't count. Lieutenant Surge became popular because of the anime.
Oh yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
His
that
anime,
was one
of Pikachu's biggest moments, man.
Yeah, it was. It really, really was. Like, he became very much so part of the lore because of
Surge's backstory is a little creepy, though. He's basically he's before the war and Pokemon happened. You learn this in X and Y, but before the war of, I guess, Pokemon, when Pokemon was used in war, he was an actual lieutenant in this war, which is why the city is how it is.
Oh yeah, my man has definitely committed war crimes.
Oh, 100%. 100%. He just ended up being a gym leader after the war, which is, I don't know. Koga and
Erica. Remember Erica?
Blaine. I love Blaine. Blaine and Koga are probably like the ones for me. Like, I really just like them.
Whose gym was the hardest to get through?
Sabrina.
I think I agree.
Sabrina had those trap doors.
Not to undersell the invisible walls or the
trash can.
Extremely annoying trash cans.
Wasn't that hard? You just gotta go to the left. It's right, left. Literally.
I've gotten wrong so many to this day.
Once you find the right one, go to the left and hit the next trash can.
But I never knew if you had to hit it on the which side you had to hit it from, or that mattered.
I don't think it mattered. I just think it's like, once you hit the right, if you hit one, you just go to the left and hit the next one.
Oh my God, that gave me so. It's not that it. I mean, you get it eventually, of course. After trial and error,
yeah.
Like, you eventually.
Sabrina had trap doors, and it was like you could end up in the beginning.
Yeah, that one was a pain in the ass.
And then, of course, Giovanni's gym was kind of fucking annoying too. But
you had to answer the questions in that one.
Ooh, in Blaine's gym.
Blaine.
Yeah, that was Blaine's.
Yeah, it was Blaine's.
Blaine's was that was a fair. It was like, okay, you played this game.
He wasn't hard
quiz
though,
you.
because I had Blastoise 9
He's just a cool guy.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like an alien in his picture back in the day. I didn't know he had like big glasses, but he's.
I remember when they rolled out the card series that had the gym leaders cards, which was like right around the time I actually stopped playing the card series. But like Blaine's Arcanine being like a specific card was the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Team Rockets, Zubat, and all. I love those. I love the series of cards where it was like based off a specific trainer.
The hardest gym. It was probably definitely was probably Sabrina's gym.
But then hardest fight itself.
Well, nothing's topping Whitney's Miltank, but
that's 100%.
God damn,
nobody's harder than her Miltank in this game. But
hardest fight.
Man. I feel like,
you know what? I fainted against. Who will I say that has beaten me in this game? I've definitely fainted against. I want to say. Gosh, I want to say Misty. I fainted against Misty for sure.
I don't know.
Oh yeah,
never
100%.
had. I feel like I had issues. Well, I know I had issues with Erica. But that
That's
was just because
that's where picking
Mega Drain.
Blastoise will
yes,
screw you over.
she was getting health back all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it was very annoying. And also Vileplume was like level 30 or something, or like 29. I think she had a victory bell at the same level too. Like her Vileplume and victory bell were fucking stupid, and Tangela is tanky and annoying. And yeah, I can't stand like regenerating battles. Like it's gonna take me a minute.
I hate fighting against strategies that I would never use, and that's what case of that happening.
And I don't think I didn't really have a fire type until I got my Magmar later. So
well, yeah,
it was
fire types in the game. If you don't get the fire type starter, you're really not getting a fire type early in the game.
I love Magmar. Magmar is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I always wanted it. So that's usually the one I went for, unless I, for whatever reason, was training my Growlithe at that time. But back then, I would you didn't know, so niggas was out here evolving Growlithe like as soon as I got the stone, and you should not have done that,
right? Because
Growlithe Arcanine learned to no moves whatsoever.
That was like there was no way to know stuff like that.
You guys gotta know. Yeah, you gotta know. If you evolve your Pokemon too early with them stones, they won't learn shit.
The anime taught me that.
Yeah, you gotta literally wait till like Growlithe's like level 42 and have everything.
Let me get my Fire Blast on before I send you into the abyss, and you will never learn anything again.
Basically.
The gyms, Elite Four.
Elite Four was real deal though. We talking about. See, for me,
I gotta pull this up. They were hard.
Lance was a hoe because
Lance was a champion.
He had 2 level 56 Dragonairs. Okay.
Why do you have 2 of the same people?
He had 2 Dragonairs at level 56, and then he turned around and he had, his Dragonite, which was I think 64 or 61 or something like that. He had an Aerodactyl. He had a Gyarados.
An Aerodactyl.
His Gyarados was hard. I've never had an easy time against Gyarados.
His Gyarados was ridiculous.
Getting past those 2 Dragonairs were really it to me.
Bruno was a piece of shit too.
He's lame.
Yeah, he's kind of lame.
Lorelai's way harder than Bruno.
Yeah.
What's the ghost type? What's her name?
Agatha. She's hard.
Oh my god, dude. She had 2 Gengars, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2
Let me
hunters.
see.
Was it 2 Gengars or 2 hunters?
No, she had 2 Gengars.
This was brutal. God. Check this out. She had a 56 Gengar, a 56 Golbat, a 55 Haunter, a 58 Arbok, and then a 60 Gengar.
Oh my, yeah, no, she definitely kicked my ass a few times, I'm sure.
She was actually harder than Lance in most ways.
No, really? Because
no, never mind. I just looked at his levels.
Yeah,
Lance was some other shit, bro.
Lance was to me was the hardest in the Elite Four until probably I think maybe to me Cynthia came along.
I never had issues with Blue really at the end because his typings were so spread out. I could handle it.
Yeah, that was the thing. The Elite Four wasn't actually hard, except that it was hard to have more than one Pokemon effective against a bunch of them.
And you had to cop so many full restores, so many revives,
hyper potions.
When they used one,
it was like that. You can't do that.
You might as well. Yeah, no, it should be against the rules. I'm like, yo, how are they able to use this shit? I'm kicking their ass right now.
I also know that there were times when they would use something more times than they could have used it.
Yeah, like two,
like back to back. Like I've had
actually, or they'd run out of PP and then use something.
It's funny you say that. Erica was good for that. Like she would use 2 hyper potions on Vileplume back to back. Like I'm like, how did you even know I was gonna almost KO you?
But if it's when they reach a certain amount of health, the game triggers itself to say, okay, use hyper potion.
Definitely.
No matter what.
But the issue was they didn't. I don't want to say something I didn't like about the game, but they did not get us ready for that because it didn't happen often throughout the game. Like you didn't play regular trainers.
No,
the regular trainers never did that shit.
Yeah,
it's like when you get to like a real battle against somebody important, you do it. You're like, whoa, hold on, I'm only supposed to be doing that.
Right. Let's see. The Gyarados. I mean, all the Elite Four to me were elite. Lance is OP. The champion. Let's talk about our rival.
Surprised the first time you had to fight him, like when they were like, "You would have won, but haha, idiot."
Yes, I was surprised.
I was shocked
because it's called the Elite Four.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding?
There's
already a champion. Blue.
They would have told you when you started.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh my god. So the Pokemon champion. Okay, so it was blue. Let's talk about our rival in the game.
Yeah.
How do you like the rival?
Hard as hell in that first playthrough. Hardest fights in the game, probably, for a lot of them.
He came at the most inopportune times always.
You weren't ready.
Which one did you guys think was the hardest?
The one after getting the mist.
The one after the mist. Yeah, yes.
Oh my, because I was usually fucked up coming out the cave, and I was walking around, and if you go up that damn
bridge
on that, like or if you didn't know, obviously, because you're just playing, and you go up that bridge, and he hits you, and I'm like, I did not go to the Pokemon Center, and I think that was his first Pidgey. I think he had a Pidgeotto at that time, like when you first get to that point, and it was a beast. Like his Pidgeotto, and I of course, Butterfree was first in my slot because I just came out the cave. And Pidgeotto would just hit me with a gust, and I'm like, all right, it's a wrap for me, man.
So in that battle, he had definitely level 18 Pidgeotto. He kicked off with that. He was like, we body.
Yeah, I remember.
He had an Abra.
It didn't do nothing. He used Teleport, and it didn't do nothing.
He had a Rattata level 15 and a Charmander level 17.
Yeah.
Or whatever starter you choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the teams, it depended on the starter. It will that one on the bridge.
You though. You didn't think it was happening right then and there.
No, you never thought it was happening.
The fight, yeah. I mean, I always wanted the Abra when I saw that he had one at that point.
He was right up there
during
the
Misty fight.
They're just super hard to catch.
Oh yeah,
because if you didn't stay the first time, it was gone.
His team as champion, Pidgeot level 61 had wing attack, mirror move, which is no longer a sexy move anymore.
Not really.
Sky attack and whirlwind. Whirlwind was a bitch.
Whirlwind was a bitch.
Alakazam, he had
fuck your whole shit up.
Alakazam, Psybeam, Psychic, Reflect, and Recover.
Oh, God, man.
Recover.
I see. Alakazam was so much better back then because stats have changed. Alakazam is so brittle in 2019
it's
nowadays.
So brittle now. It's
not like back then. There was you couldn't.
He was a tank.
He was a tank.
He was fast. He was strong. He was everything you hated.
You'll get one shot. Pretty easy.
Rhydon had Leer, Tail Whip, Fury Attack, and Horn Drill. I don't know how that got out the races.
I mean, that one actually, I would say, is the obvious weak point because you could surf that motherfucker and
it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Even like Charizard could probably withstand a surf at this point.
Maybe. Yeah. Executor, Hypnosis, Barrage, and Stomp. I don't know how he got through it.
How did he?
He only had 3 moves.
He had 3 moves. He ran Hypnosis. That's why. Like that was like the first move he'd use.
The Executor.
If it didn't go through,
terrifying.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like
in this game.
I'm still freaked out by a Alolan Executor, so it's okay.
Oh, you're the tall one?
Yeah, the Alolan one he's a grass dragon. Although it's like the worst typing you can possibly have because you can get fucking murked by any kind of ice beam or any ice move for that matter.
He had a Gyarados level 63 that had Dragon Rage, Hydro Pump, Hyper Beam, and Leer.
Leer really limped into that one.
Yeah.
I know, right? Hyper Beam used to be the move until you got older and realized you didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
Well, realizing that sacrificing the other turn was just not worth it at all.
It wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
it just did so much damage, you know?
I just remember the sound of it.
Yeah, and when it used against you, oh no.
Yeah, it would hurt, man.
Charizard, Fire Blast.
The starter.
Rage, Slash, and Fire Spin.
Shout out Slash, man.
He, for the other starter, Blastoise, he would have Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Bite, and Withdraw.
No Crunch at this time. Crunch did not exist, I don't think. Did it?
Nah.
No.
Crunch was Gen
dark move.
2? 10 or 3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Crunch is a dark move. You're right.
And Venusaur.
Why is it? But
Venusaur was Growth, Mega Drain, Razor Leaf, and Solar Beam.
And also he had an Arcanine in the other two lineups.
He had an Arcanine, 100%. That had Roar. And he had Ember on this? What the hell?
Why wouldn't he have Flamethrower?
He didn't care about his damn Arcanine that much for whatever reason.
Oh,
was there a third?
He had to evolve it too soon.
Yeah, he evolved it too soon. Clearly, he evolved it too soon. That's what happened.
Oh my god! But I mean, that lines up with the story, right? Like,
yeah,
kind of.
It works out, I guess. Yeah.
That was funny. Listen,
Gary also had a car in the anime, so
Gary was much cooler in anime. When we do our anime episode,
he had a
there's
whip,
definitely
so he was
there's
worth it.
definitely a Hall of Fame part where we talk about Gary. How did you guys like the villains in the game? I'm very big on, especially now. I talk to
Well,
Jeff all the
this-
time. If the
yeah,
villains
he
are
does.
trash, the game
He
is
does.
trash for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mills
it's
don't
true.
care. Like you said, if he doesn't have like good bad guys, he's not even interested in that shit.
That's
Yeah.
why Team Skull sucked, because not only were they like a really weird like interpretation of like 90s quote unquote like gangstas by like Eastern culture, but they also were like really lame.
Yeah, they were very lame.
I remember me and Mills were playing the games around the same time, and we would always be like, man, these guys are really just like on some hood shit out here. Like
They're all basically every one of them is from Malibu's Most Wanted.
But they had like a own like when the part where you have to go to their hideout to fight. I mean, it's like this like beat up
town,
like a fucked up Poke Center where like you got to pay them to fix your Pokemon. I'm like, so you guys are taking money from me.
They're actually throwing gang signs when they start fighting you.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
Team Rocket in the game. Team Rocket was, of course, the team of Giovanni. What was their even goal? Their goal was like, I guess
it was Mewtwo based.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
and like the general Pokemon thievery.
And just general
just being reckless.
They kind of had like a circus gimmick.
Fossils. They try to get
fossils.
They try to steal a TM from the Cubone's mom. What else did he do? Oh, Mr. Fuji. I gotta remember Mr. Fuji. Hostage situation at Silphco.
Yeah, which is crazy now. They're terrorists.
Really think about it. They are terrorists. I was just about to say that. They are freaking terrorists, dude.
Oh my god. But I mean, I think they were more terrorizing in the game that happened afterwards.
I like Team Rocket way better in Pokemon Yellow. You got to actually see, Jesse and James
and Meowth.
Even
though Meowth was a Pokemon that you had to fight, which was like, it's not as cool, but I like it.
It was cool. Yeah, it was cool.
I liked it. Team Rocket are much more formidable in Gold and Silver, in my opinion.
They're in Let's Go too. They're way cooler in Pokemon Let's Go.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out.
I gotta say, big improvement when they just fully committed to the show version in Yellow too.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's any more that we have to talk about the games. Let's talk a little bit about the rumors and all the bonus stuff before we wrap up. MissingNo.
Yes.
MissingNo. We have to start that off because it's a glitch in the game that eventually spawned so many other different rumors and spawned so many different things and all these other conspiracies regarding it. And it only did that because it was actually true.
Yeah, it's real. It's a real thing.
MissingNo was stand for missing number.
Yeah, which you could blink and miss if you're 10 years old.
Yeah, because MissingNo, I thought it was like, well, there's a Pokemon named Electo, and like MissingNo is not like.
Yeah, they're all puns. So.
Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, is it? I've definitely caught a MissingNo and evolved it very quickly because that's how you had to do it before it would ruin your game. It would typically evolve into Kangaskhan for me.
I never messed with them as far as
really.
I was too scared. I mean, I did fuck up the game once or twice, but I generally didn't fuck them.
Yeah, I didn't mess with them. I just I like what you just said. I didn't mess with them.
I didn't do that either.
I know, just the way it came out. I didn't ever mess with it. I really just did it to get rare candies, and that was the end of it.
I did it, yeah, rare candies, master balls, all types of shit.
Yeah, it's shenanigans, basically.
Pretty much shenanigans.
When you're ready to get your Pokemon level 100, go that Cinnabar Island, that little up and down, just go up and down until you find that thing, man, and do what you gotta do.
I really like its sprite that's just like the monolith, the one that's like just the straight up classic one. But if I were doing the glitch and I got like the one where it was like the ghost one of the skeletons, I was like, oh no, I did it too many times. They're coming to get me.
I've never seen the skeleton. I've seen
never seen the skeleton
I've
either.
seen the the Marowak, the pre-Silph Scope Marowak ghost.
Yeah.
And I've seen the actual, the MissingNo, the damn block, the
tower,
the
classic
thing. Yeah, I've seen that, but I've never seen I've seen pictures of a skeleton, but I don't know where that came from.
No, Neither do I. I think they're in the game because they're supposed to be fossils. There were supposed to be like fossils that are included in that Pewter City exhibit for like fossil Pokemon and shit like that. I think they were initially supposed to be including that. MissingNo, the way it happens is, and it's still a little bit too far over my head to actually be able to knock down word for word and simplify it.
Do you want? I can rattle it off really quickly if you want me to.
Knock it out.
Okay, so basically, the glitch would let you initially duplicate to 99 quantity the 6th item slot in your bag, which in the original games was just a single slot bag. Like it wasn't broken up into like key items and all that shit. It was just in the order you got them. So
you could move them, right?
Yeah,
with
you
like
could.
Select.
You move them with select, which was crucial to doing this. So you'd put traditionally a rare candy in the 6th slot. Then you talk to the old man who hasn't had his coffee in Viridian City, who shows you how to catch a Pokemon. And initially, people would tell you there were more steps to it, but this was actually all you had to do was talk to him.
That was it.
And fly to Cinnabar and surf on the right side of the island. And usually, sometimes because it was so glitchy, you'd get like a level 110 Nidoking, and you'd be like, okay, this was the bad decision of the day for me. But otherwise, you'd get MissingNo, who would then, I don't think you had to do anything other than leave the fight technically, and then you'd have 99 of whatever item was in your 6th slot. No. But a lot of times people would do more than that, and they would fight it and catch it, and interacting with it on any level would potentially ruin your game.
It could tank your game. Yeah.
Like me.
I tried to never catch that thing, dude.
The programming aspect of this and how it actually happened, it's weird, and that's why I said it's hard for me to actually say because I don't fully get it, but I get the logic behind it. It was essentially when you talk to the guy, that's the only part in the game that's like automated for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is hard to believe considering
what
it's like now.
Yeah, right. So that's the only I know, right? The first 30 minutes of Sun and Moon. But that's the only part that's automated for you. So it takes what would usually be your name that be in the game, like, Pat, use it would usually take that, and they decided in that game they move that to store in the same file that wild Pokemon are, and they put the old man's name in that slot. Now it's very hard to explain. Like I'm having a hard time explaining it now. But after you finish that, your name isn't put back until you actually go into the wild grass and you encounter a Pokemon. That's why you can fly to Cinnabar Island, because Cinnabar Island, you're not supposed to encounter any wild Pokemon there. Fortunately enough, there's that coast that on the right side, the left side you can't encounter Pokemon, but on the right side you can. That's why you can go along the coast and actually catch Pokemon. It's still in that name. There's a glitch, and because of that's where I lose all thing. But there's
plenty of sufficient enough explanation, I would
say. Yeah. There's plenty of YouTube videos. There's initially 190 slots.
It wasn't hard.
Yeah. There was initially 190 slots in the game. 151 are filled up by Pokemon. There are 39 others that aren't. That was initially filled with things that were potentially going to be in the game,
like temporary data.
Yeah, temporary data and things like Gen 2 stuff that maybe was moved over to Gen 2 instead. And that's a lot of times why you get MissingNo in the game. But yeah, MissingNo led to a whole bunch of chaos in this game, and it was the reason why so many different rumors that we heard, like the Up and B and the Mew under the truck thing, were all believable, because it was like, well, MissingNo is a thing, so this has got to be a thing. Let's see. Mew in
so
this
cool.
game. It was, you know what I love most? The Mewtwo story. I thought the Mewtwo story was very well done in this game, even though it made no sense by them referencing an actual real country in this fictional game.
Yeah. They didn't have it quite figured out at that point.
No, but it was still pretty good. Like it is, the music and that Cinnabar Island thing, and then it's just like you're going through and reading all these chapters. Is like Mewtwo was found on the island, the coast of Guyana, et cetera, et cetera. Reading all these scientist diaries and shit like that. I mean, the movies eventually, to me, the movies still do it no justice.
Not even close.
Yeah,
I mean, they're cool because he has a suit of armor.
Yeah, but this movie still do it no justice in terms of just like how actually like kind of chilling these stories are, because they're from like, I would guess like dead scientists.
Yeah, like walking around the burned out mansion and shit. That was so cool and creepy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And you'd read all the diaries. It's like in day 3, like we discovered a new thing. It's Mew and et cetera, et cetera.
I know how Pokemon, they basically tried to debunk this and act like they didn't know what was going on. The whole Mew and Ditto thing. How basically Ditto is a failed attempt to create Mewtwo. They have the same shiny. They weigh the same. Both their shinies are blue. And they're only 2 Pokemon that use Transform. So Ditto is rumored to be just failed attempts. Failed attempts to clone Mew to get Mew.
Oh, and that's why he's a blob.
That's why he's a blob, and that's also
they debunked that.
They asked there's an interview. They like interviewed they interviewed somebody, and he was like, "Oh, this is the first time I'm actually hearing about this." It's like it was Masuda. They interviewed him, and he was like, "Oh, it's the first time I ever hearing about that rumor." Actually,
Shunichi Masato. Yeah.
I don't believe him. Like I just don't believe.
Yeah, he's towing the company line there.
Because they both weigh 8.8 pounds. They have the same shiny color. They both learn Transform at level 0. I don't know. It's just weird. Like it
works for the lore of this. 100%.
And Dittos are all in that damn mansion.
Yeah.
So
it's perfect.
It's perfect. Like you can't tell me that Ditto is not a failed Mew clone.
That's why I love these ones more than anything else, because there's like just enough information in the games for you to create like the creepiest story around.
Yes, so but awesome. No, isn't that weird though? Like you guys should really look it out. Like it
no, I've definitely read it. I've definitely read all the conspiracy and things. It's perfect. I believe it.
It really is.
Mew in this game, I never got Mew.
I got Mew through Gameshark, and that was
I think I Gamesharked it.
That's the only way I've seen it. Yeah,
I've never got Mew, but to think they put it in the game after the game was already debugged, which is apparently very dangerous to do, and by standards of any type of game would not be something that you should do. But they added it to the game the last minute. There was another free slot or another free like 56 kilobytes they had, I guess, and they just added that to the game. So it was added all after the fact, which is kind of cool.
I heard they released Mew through like in Japan through Link.
I read was something where you could mail in your cartridge to get it put on, and then they just mail it back to you.
Interesting.
Which is like crazy.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I remember the Mew, like the actual like I remember what it looked like in the game when I got it on the on my Gameshark, but I thought that there was like two different methods. So you could do it. You could glitch it.
Yeah, there was another I didn't know about this at the time, but there's a glitch that I've read about since that you could get it. I think like Lavender Town was involved somehow.
Yeah, Snorlax. There's like a Snorlax like skip glitch. Like you gotta like skip Snorlax in some way.
Yeah, like you can get Mew in the game completely. I mean, not legitimately, but without any help, and it won't ruin your
shenanigans. Game. Yeah, but
yeah, I agree. Cerulean. There was another one with Cerulean City, and you had to fly. You had to talk to this person, fly, and not encounter this battle. A whole bunch of steps you actually had to do.
That's the one. That's the one I'm thinking of, Mills. That's the one I'm talking about.
Real quick, all these glitches to get Mew, they did keep the glitches in the game on the Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console store version.
That's awesome.
So you can get Mew through all these glitches, and they kept MissingNo. All those are in the original still when you buy them from the Virtual Console on your 3DS, if anybody's curious.
Excellent. That's fire.
Yep.
PokeGods.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
What are the... I mean, I remember Peekaboo specifically. I remember that it was released on a website that had 3D designs of of the next generation of Pokemon, and Pikachu was 100%. I don't know if it was even 3D design. I guess it was still
it was like a water type of Pikachu.
yeah, and it was just like, huh, Pikachu.
They really lucked into that name.
Yeah.
I also I ended up liking Meryl a lot more because of it being this rumor.
Yeah. Meryl I thought was like the next it thing to me. Like when I first saw Meryl, I was like, of course they gave it to fucking Tracy's bitch ass.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But yeah, I thought Meryl was awesome, man.
Togepi was another one. Ampharos, but see, these all ended up being real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there some evolutions that they had lined up that never?
I think ones that never happened.
Like Espeon, and it was like it's supposed to be Espeon and Umbreon though.
Yeah, but they were
Lunarion
and Solarion,
which end up Lunarion ends up being Umbreon and Solarion ends up being Espeon.
But that's crazy, right? Like it's just crazy.
Here were the classic ones: Saposaur, Charcolt, and Rainer. Radiclaw,
Mew3,
Spearduck. Yeah, Mew3.
Peekaboo.
Who else is out here? Yeah, these are ridiculous. But it seemed like they could happen.
Yeah. I mean they really could.
Does anybody remember the Yoshi April Fool's Day back in the day?
No. Yeah, that would have been so awesome.
There was on April Fool's, I don't remember when. This was a long time ago, but somebody had posted, I think it was from a magazine, and it was Yoshi. It was like a Yoshi encounter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on
I'm seeing
Pokemon
it now.
Yellow or something.
I'm seeing it now. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's cool. They should put him in the game.
And they did put Mew in Snap too.
Yeah,
they did.
It was like a big deal because at the time Snap was the only console version.
Yeah, that was like the last that you had to go to space to get him.
Yeah,
to take a picture of him.
A lot of concept artwork for a lot of Pokemon that never existed.
Yeah,
correct.
And became
some
other
things
stuff
that
later.
I'm about to say came other things later.
Same other things later. There was a deer one. There is you can all look this up online. They exist. It's there's a shark one. There was one that eventually looked like people saying it became Spheal. There's one that may have become Hitmontop.
There's like Hitmontop like Clefairy looking thing.
Yeah, there's so many different things. There's so many just different artworks, different type of Pokemon and what they're supposed to be, and all these other stuff like that. Like
in the manga, the Pokeballs used to be see-through, and the Pokemon, and they would just be you could see them inside of the if you read some of the early mangas and they show the Pokeball, the Pocket Monster, they're like inside the Pokeball. You can see them. The top's like see-through and shit.
Let's see. I would get into racist Jinx, but I think we'll get that when we get to the anime because I think that's more pertinent.
Yeah, Jinx anyway. So
yeah, I never was a fan. They tried I thought Jinx was going to end up getting like an evolution or like a mega at some point, and
they got a baby.
Ended up giving it a baby. Yeah, they gave it a baby, and I guess that was like, all right, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Jinx was so lame. Even like before I knew that it was like a racist thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if any girls playing the game liked Jinx. You know what I mean? Because maybe because we were boys and we didn't really care about Jinx just visually.
Yeah, that might be true. But even outside of that, as a kind of woman-looking character, it's also really weird.
Yeah,
it is considering it's not a human.
Yeah,
100%. Any other final thoughts? Final things about the Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Green generation before we put this to a close?
Yeah, I wish we got Pokemon Green. The main character was a girl. I thought that was
we
awesome.
got Leaf Green.
I know, but that was it was some time after. But I just like the fact that Green is a female. But they're classics. If you weren't able to play these or you weren't born yet, for that matter, you can go on 3DS and if you have one and buy it from the store fairly cheap and play them all over. If you haven't played, I know we'll talk about later, Silver and Gold and all these other classic games, but Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, Green, they are the beginning. They represent what this franchise is today. Even though we have all these little things, but if you play the game, I can play the game as a 29-year-old and still I still enjoy it. It's still fairly fun. I may know it like the back of my hand nowadays, but it is.
Yeah.
It's still very, very good. You know, I can walk through that rock tunnel with no flash, just like I could 15 years ago. You know, so.
The cool thing about this was that like it kind of it was the first thing that like because it was quote unquote like foreign or like imported or whatever,
Mhm.
it was the first thing that I really had to seek out myself. Like like adults quote unquote weren't like the gatekeepers of what this was because they had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't know what websites to go on. They didn't know anything about it. So it was like the first time that like a hobby of mine was really like the Wild West just for me.
If y'all were born after 2000, y'all don't understand. We didn't have Twitter or like internet was minimal. You know, like there wasn't a lot of things we could figure out on our own. We just had to play, and it was word of mouth. That's why things like Mew3 and Peekaboo. That's why these things were kind of like, oh yeah, that's probably true. I just haven't seen it yet,
Also
or I
everybody's
don't know yet.
great.
Yeah, it's,
You
everything
can't
was
like lie to people.
you got to
be
see it. Only way it was true is if you saw it. You know, there was no. It was tough. The internet was different then, and so that's what made this so special. It was only everybody was going through it, but it was we were expressing it only in person. You know, you couldn't really. There was no way to put this on your Twitter or on your Facebook or whatever you're using. It was just very. It felt like it was yours. You know, it just felt like it was just yours. And then you went outside and saw everybody was into it and just made it 10 times more fun.
Are these the best games?
Say what now?
Are these the best games?
What, for Pokemon?
Yeah.
They're not my favorites, but it's right there. It's close.
It's good. It's very good.
Close, man.
It's very good.
Like, I would say probably the next ones are maybe the best.
Yeah. Silver, gold.
Yeah.
Were just
because that's just the right blend of like it was still very word of mouth and like it was still
it was
like that same.
It was just like
they knew a little bit more what they were doing.
And I told you guys earlier, you know, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, being able to that was the one. I think that was the first time you know you could really like go back a gen. And
yeah,
and then they were hard, they were more difficult and levels were higher. I just thought that was so cool.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I love.
We'll talk about the next episode. I don't want to give too much away.
No, yeah. Gold and Silver was incredible.
They're so this thing is the thing that made me like I wouldn't like Dragon Ball Z as much if this hadn't happened.
I hear
this was like the biggest. As much as I was a super fan of anything I liked before this was like my gateway thing.
It opened the gate to standing a little bit.
Yeah.
I very much so enjoyed spending hours late night looking up so much different shit that happened that happened and what didn't happen in this game, because the development of this game and how it was just so new at the time. I remember when it was so new, and I remember everyone that was involved, and I remember and now looking back, like, you know, just like 21 years later, and seeing all the stories and how all the things that got involved and how things have changed and stuff, and just going through the early development process of the game, it was cool, especially considering what Pokemon is now, which is like this conglomerate, like major thing that's like worldwide and makes like $4 billion. It's cool to go back on. It's cool to go back on. It's cool to look at. I remember them distinctly. I can go through the game without ever needing anything because I've played this game so goddamn much. Yeah, it was fun. Sidebar, Jeff, Pokemon Go Fest Dortmund, they sent out a Team Rocket blimp.
Really?
Yeah, at That's Pokemon incredible. Go Fest in Germany. So there's a
Is
Team
that
Rocket.
Where the Nidorans are like really popping right now?
Yeah, it's where all the other stuff and all the
Atlanta. They need to. Yeah, we need to go to one of these.
We do. Yeah. Listen, it's the only Pokemon Go is different. But yes, this has been episode 2 of the Mount Silver podcast. This was a long one, but necessary.
Awesome. There's so much to say about this. I mean, it set an unparalleled precedent.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. Next episode, we will definitely be talking about Silver and Gold, and what's the other one? Crystal, Silver,
we'll
Gold,
probably
Crystal.
Have some more Sword and Shield information by then too. Maybe some starter evolutions. Who knows?
Yeah, or at least like more than 10 guys to talk about.
Right.
We'll definitely talk about that. But until then, if you love everything that we're putting out, make sure you subscribe to RNC Radio Live. You can listen to us several podcasts, including the RNC Radio podcast. You can listen to the A Show. You can listen to the Cable Box with Pat, or you can listen to the Lookout with myself and Jeff, which will be showing back up eventually for his summer at Kame House. You can also listen to the Euphoria podcast. I still don't have the name because I remember I was going to start Euphoria today. You can listen to the Euphoria podcast with Mark and Justin as they go over the podcast.
I'll announce this. I don't know when this is coming out, but we are. There's only going to be one late fees in July. We just put out that supersized Child's Play episode, which
Yes.
is awesome. But at the end of the month, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is coming out, and so we're doing a Tarantino episode. But he is, has a lot of movies, so that one's also going to be long. So we are just putting out that one at the end of the month.
Boom. Sounds
There you
good. So
go.
you got that late feast talk right here. And the podcast, the name for the Euphoria podcast is Overly Medicated. So check out Overly Medicated with Mark and Justin. I almost said Jeff.
Not quite.
But yeah, stay tuned. We'll have another one. We'll have another one up
Definitely.
pretty soon. We'll just have to schedule it and we'll get things going. But until then,
We'll talk about Mount Silver on the next podcast.
yeah, right.
Hey.
For the first time, it all comes back around full circle. But
It
until
does.
then, this is the Mount Silver podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Yeah.